Hey guys, welcome to the 101 in 10, where you get to see your favorite indie artists from around the world 101 in 10 minutes. I'm your host, Ayasha Roberson, and we are back on a scene with another new indie artist. So we have this group, they have this rock, authentic sound. I just love their music. Their music is just very up-tempo, upbeat. It has passion, it has this powerness to it. And I would love to have them on the show. And guess what, guys? We finally got them on the show. Help me introduce the Magic ES.
Hey, hello, how are you?
And we have Stewart of the Magic ES. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the 101 in 10. So can you tell us, how did you come up with the name of your group, and what are your musical influences?
Okay, so the name of the group is actually the Magic E's, and that confuses everybody.
Right.
It actually bizarrely stems from an old 1980s children's television show in England called Words and Pictures. And as part of, and I'm a child of the 80s, I hate to say, but I am. And the children's TV show was called Words and Pictures, and they used to teach children about the English language and how to spell and grammar and all of that good stuff. And one of the songs that they had was called the Magic E's song. And the reason it was called the Magic E song is it was because how the letter E changed the sounding of words. So kit becomes kite, etc., etc. So it was called the Magic E song. It used to go magic, magic E, magic, magic E. So anyway, it harked back to our childhood, and that's why we decided to call ourselves the Magic E's, purely because of that reminiscent moment. And we, as you said, are an indie rock band. We are very much in the guise of the sort of 1990s, I guess, Britpop, indie rock, sort of grunge era was very much our bag and where we came from. And so we play melodic guitar rock. I think that's probably what you can call it. So we like a melody, we like a tune. We're a three-piece band. I'm the drummer, I'm Stu. We've got Pete, who's the lead singer, and also the guitarist. And we've got Jasper, who's our bass player.
Wow. You know what? I learn something new every day, and I've never even heard of that child song like that, because you said it's in England. So I guess that was like the Mr. Rogers of your time, because Mr. Rogers was something that did that come out in England too? I don't know if it did or not, but
I don't think so, but okay. I do. I'm aware of it from American TV shows.
Yeah. So I've never even heard of this children's show. This dynamic that you were able to pull something from that show, and actually it connected to you because it was something that was very fun. It was the foundation of your childhood.
Exactly that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Never thought.
It taught us how to read and write, and obviously we can now incorporate all the fantastic things that we learned there into our musical lyrics these days. So
that's awesome. And I love the fact that you have so much different talent and so many different influences that just kind of come together, and y'all are able to create your own unique sound. I think that's what the challenges most artists have. They can't really connect together and connect. They can create a sound, maybe a sound like someone else, or imitate a sound, but they can't create their own unique sound. Now, I'm sorry.
So yeah, so I mean, our musical influences are quite vast, to be honest. I've said, we're kind of grounded in the 1990s Britpop guitar music era, but between the three of us, we listen to all sorts of stuff. It can be Bruce Springsteen one day, Neil Young the next. It can be, I don't know, Americana. It could be Marty Robbins the next. It can be it can be Blur, it can be Oasis, it can be the Stone Roses, all of the kind of Britpop bands of our era. Was recently lucky enough to see Pearl Jam when they came to London, and the Pixies and all those sorts of bands have had a huge musical influence on us. And I think you kind of get a bit of a flavour of that in our tunes. As I say, we like a melody, we like something that's got a catchy hook and you can sing along to.
Correct. And I love it. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your challenges and successes as being a musical band on the indie scene?
Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of challenges, and but that's part of the fun of doing it. I mean, for the first instance, you've got the whole creative challenge. We just play our own music. We don't cover anyone else's music. So it's how do we put together a song? Where do those influences come through? Where do we get started with those? And we've been together 7 years now, so that's kind of migrated and changed as time's gone on. When we started out, Pete, the lead singer, would generally come with almost a fully finished tune that he'd worked up in his head and with the guitar, and he'd bring it to practice. And that would form the song. We'd put our own spin on it because Jasper brings something different in a bass, very accomplished bass player. I'd bring something different in drums, and so the song might change a little bit.
Right.
But these days, we've kind of moved on now, and we very good at recording every practice and rehearsal session that we have. And we can pull out bits of those songs and jam them together into something that makes sense, and they evolve then over time into something that is the Magic E sound. So I think that first challenge is the creative one. And you never know exactly when to finish the creative process. As you've rightfully said, our new tune, Gone, is out on the 9th of September. And that took, a good 6 months, I think, to get together from the first few notes that were played into something that's finalized. And you sometimes find that as you take it out on the road and play it live, it kind of changes a bit as well. So there's that whole creative challenge. There's the challenge of getting out and playing live. There's lots of great bands in the UK. There's lots of good venues, but the amounts of venues are slowly starting to dry up. I don't know what it's like in America, but in the UK, we've got lots of challenges around, coming out of the pandemic. And losing venues over that time to the increased costs that is, electricity costs, etc., that venues are now having to face, that they're having to increase all of their prices and find the money for that. So the amount of venues that are open to play are sort of diminished. And the fact we play our own music, we've got a reduced amount of places to play anyway. It used to be when you're an originals band in the 60s, 70s, you could get a gig in a pub and every day of the week and play your own music. But not so much these days. There's most places like to have covers bands who come in and play songs that people know. So there's a challenge of finding the venues and working with the promoters who know the really good venues to be able to play original music. So that's quite a challenge. And then there's the whole sort of getting your music heard and getting it out there challenge. And we've been really lucky in that over the years. We've had our music played all over the world. It's now obviously hit the ears of an American audience. We've been played in Australia this week as well, as well as locally and domestically in sort of the UK, Wales and Scotland and Ireland. So we've been very lucky, but it's taken 7 years to get up to that point, to build an audience. We've got 11,000 people following us on Facebook, which is pretty cool. So you've got a sort of ready-made audience there. We're building the other social media platforms as we go. But we like to think that we're a really accessible band to our fans. They can message us and we'll get straight back, and we like to keep them up to date with what we're doing and what's coming up next. So I think it forms a really strong link between us and the people who enjoy our music.
I love it. I love the fact that even your challenges have also become your successes as well. So it's great to see the dynamic go hand in hand. Even though it took you 7 years and it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, there actually has been a lot of positives and benefits out of what you guys have gone through. And I think that's what a lot of indie artists or underground artists struggle with. Like they don't want to put the blood, sweat, and tears into it. They just want the instant gratification. And, sometimes you have to put in the labor before you can start receiving some of the fruits of that labor. And you have to, make the sacrifices and be disciplined. And this is great. And I'm so happy for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything you've said there. I think we do live in a modern day instant gratification society where people want something now, and it is tough. I think if you talk to any musician, no matter how well known they are, they will be able to cite a time where they've played to an empty room, or one or two people, and it's all part of the journey. You know, we play to busy crowds these days, but when we first started out, I can recount a time where we played a very wet and cold January day out on the coast on the seafront down a pier. And the waves were splashing over the side almost into the pub that was on the pier. It was snowing, and we played to the bar staff and the man and his dog. But you know, we went through, we did the full set, we got a round of applause from them at the end, and on we go. And you take it as a learning experience. But I think every musician will have a very similar story where they've been in a position like that. And it just makes you so gracious that when you get to play the bigger stadiums or the bigger stands, the bigger venues, whatever it might be, and you support other fantastic acts, it makes it all very much worthwhile, and you appreciate it so much more.
And you're exactly right, still, because you actually become more humble in the process. And that's a very great story. It's inspirational, and I'm so glad you shared it with us on our show. Can you tell us a little bit about, I know that you have a song called Hope, which I like, but I want to talk a little bit about Gone, which is your much newer song. Tell me a little bit of how you come up with the song, because I know that it's premiering on 9th of September. And, you know, what was some of the influences behind that song?
Yeah, so it's quite an interesting one for us. Again, it's one of the songs that we worked up between us. Pete had an idea for the song, brought it to practice. We worked around the different sections of it, and it turned into sort of the format that it almost is now. It changed a bit in recording, and I'll come back to that. But the actual song itself is really, you know, the lyrics of it came from Pete thinking about the pandemic and thinking about some of the personal experience he's had over his life, and particularly the last few years, in terms of losing people who are close to you. And we all go through it at some point in our life. We lose someone close to us for one reason or another. And so this song really is a reflection on thinking about, you know, how much of an impact that is. It's about, you know, again, going back to us being positive, we like to be positive about things. It's about thinking how you can be there for the people who might be experiencing difficult times. You can be present for them. You can be that strong, supportive nature. But also there's that side of it about, you know, I guess, learning to live with grief and letting things go and moving on. So there's that whole side of it as well. So the song we took into the recording studio with what we thought was kind of a finalized piece, and we started working with the sound engineer Andy Hodgson there, who's ex Abbey Road, very, very experienced guy, and he threw a few ideas into the mix. So the beginning bit where it's a bit quiet and you've got some of that reverb going on was kind of his idea. So it sort of migrated into what it is now. But I think it's a good reflection of us in terms of the sort of lyrics that we come out with. It's a good reflection of us in terms of the melody. It's got a decent tune to it, and it's something that gets stuck in your head. So yeah, that's kind of how it came about and what it's about, really.
I love it. And just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, there is Pete. He is the lead vocal person that sings the lead vocals on the group, and Jasper is the other person that's a part of the group as well. So when he talks about Pete and Jasper, they're not here, but they're the two other members of the group, the Magic E. So I am so elated and excited about your song. Make sure 101 and 10 fans check out their song Gone on Indie Live Music Radio. And when you go to the station, you can also download the TuneIn app, and we're on TuneIn as well. So you can tune into our station on TuneIn, which is awesome. So can you tell the fans what about your upcoming performances, and how can they come and see you guys perform?
Yeah, so the upcoming shows are all in the UK. We are out and about in sort of east of England and slightly into the Midlands. So we've got a gig coming up on the 23rd at Deepdale Festival. It's a place just off the coast in the east of England. We've got a place on the 24th, a gig on the 24th of September. That's at the Shed in Leicester. And then we'll be looking at further dates going towards the end of the year, and you can get updated by visiting our website, which is wearemagic.uk.
Yes, we are
And we
magic.
keep all of our dates on there.
Yes. Make sure you go to their website, guys. We have it posted at the bottom of this show as well. And thank you so much, Stu, for representing your group, the Magic E. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the 101 and 10, where you get to see your favorite artists from around the world. You never know who's going to be next on our show next time around. Make sure you continue to follow us, like us, and subscribe to our channel. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care and have a good day.